Get that body to the morgue and find me the other driver.
Bond.
Good to see you're alive, 007. We tracked your cell phone to Bangkok, but the GPS coordinates haven't moved in 6 hours.
I may be closing in on the people behind the researcher's kidnapping. I need to have Q Branch run a data check on a man named Rack. Banking, business associates. Have them contact me with names and addresses.
Will do. But I should warn you. We've been following news reports that the Thai police are looking for an Englishman who destroyed half of Bangkok last night in a car chase.
And what makes you think it was me?
Do you really want me to answer that question?
Can I call you back?
There's still no sign of the second driver. Go check the buildings along the riverbank and see if anybody saw anything.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today we have a bit of a longer and more substantial video.
Bond, we've located a potential lead to Rack from an old friend of yours called Silk. He owns a club not far from you. I'm marking the location on your smartphone now.
Right, so our new objective is to get to Tassel's nightclub. You get one guess what kind of a nightclub is called Tassel's.
We've got men searching the river. If he died in the crash, we'll find the body.
Good. We'll be well paid if we find this guy.
And you may have noticed we also have a new gun, the stun gun, which is, bright yellow and non-lethal. In fact, the whole first section of this level is completely non-lethal. The only weapons we have are takedowns and the stun gun. The stun gun is pretty great because it's a one-hit kill, or one-hit knockout, I guess, but it does have a limited range. Also pretty limited ammo. Each guy drops only one shot. Coincidentally, our first intel here is the stun gun in its cute little weapons case. It's tiny. It's also officially called the PCP-1000. And all this intel says is basically what I told you. That it's a non-lethal weapon and it has a limited range. The intel says about 30 feet.
Okay, we've got CCTV stills of the suspect. This guy needs to be found. There are some very influential parties involved now. Search the area.
I like the timing in that little conversation because the one guy walks away before it's over. See if we can sneak up on this guy without using the stun gun. Oh, haven't seen that one for a while. Now, one kind of cool thing about this level, you see this open street, we can actually wander around the city if we want. And just kidding. Yeah. Kind of a cool way of closing off the level, though, instead of just being a static wall or something.
Good job we're being well paid to find this guy.
Now, I mentioned that this entire section is non-lethal. That's because all the enemies we face are police. What's kind of weird about that is we know the police are working with Rack. In fact, they're looking at us so they can frame Colonel Ping's murder. Frame us for his murder. So I guess Bond's just trying to minimize his impact in Bangkok after, destroying a huge amount of the city. Here we get kind of an interesting little platforming section across the road. I seem to remember, I thought a police car with its sirens on went by underneath you as you climbed over. But it didn't happen in any of my practice runs, so maybe I'm misremembering that.
What was that?
Let's take a look what happens when we get hit with the stun gun. Yeah, we get a bit of a button mash sequence to get out of it. And we can really only take 2 hits. The second one will kill us. So you gotta be quick if you get hit. This police car here is our next piece of intel, and the intel actually has nothing to do with the car. It's a police profile for Rack. And what it tells us is he's a wealthy businessman who owns a lot of the dock area. And he's actually been investigated for criminal activity before, but has been found in police investigations to, well, to be cleared of all wrongdoing. And here we are, tassels, and surprise, surprise, it's a strip club. Although I don't know if this is the best location. I can't imagine they get a lot of foot traffic here. Anyway, let's check out the merchandise.
Good evening, sir. Can I show you to a table?
No. But you can show me to the boss.
He's behind there.
Oh, good man. Is there some way I can be of service?
I'm looking for a man.
What kind of man?
Your kind of man. Someone who preys on the helpless, sees the world as corrupt, and wants a piece of it.
You know me too well, James. How on earth did you find me?
Well, if you turn over enough rocks in enough cities, you're bound to be under one of them.
You know they ran me out of Saigon.
Was that after or before they ran you out of Athens? Or was it Ibiza? I lost track after Johannesburg.
Can I interest you in a girl?
I'll settle for some information.
Same old James. But what makes you think I'm gonna give up Rack without some kind of compensation?
Because I know you, Silky. And I know that you don't care whether Rack lives or dies, but you wouldn't mind having the 20% back that he probably skims from this place every week.
Rack has a secret boathouse on the Chow Prior River. But I'll bet you won't make it there alive.
I'll take the bet. Add it to what you owe me from last time.
And good day to you too, sir. There's an Englishman on his way to see Rack. My money says he won't make it. And you know how much I hate to lose my money. Don't let me down.
Rack's got the police out looking for the British agent, but we've been told he'll be heading this way. Stay on your guard and be ready to fire. Rack doesn't care if he's brought in reading or not.
He'd have to be crazy to try and get through here. He doesn't have a chance.
So don't worry too much about who that guy in the cutscene was. He doesn't come up again. The only thing you really need to take from that is you never bet against Bond. We got another piece of intel right off the bat, and it's sitting in this little room over here. And it's apparently something. A ship's log. And what this says is that apparently some human traffickers had to kill their cargo and throw them overboard because they were screaming for help. Kind of messed up, actually. But I guess it's proof that Rack is indeed in the human trafficking business. So after a little bit of ring around the rosy, we can move on through this market section. Now at this point, I don't think it's possible to remain stealthy. There's only a couple guys visible, but even if you use your focus aims, a whole bunch of other guys are going to spawn. So you might as well just take out the more powerful weapon and go loud. You may have noticed that a bunch of these guys were using AK-74s, and we're actually going to grab one of those before we move on. You really have to wonder how much pull Rack has in this area. It's the middle of the day, but this entire market is abandoned. Now, something you may have noticed at the start of this section is the two guys talking actually mentioned that they were waiting for a British agent to show up. And later on in this level, they actually call Bond by name. I guess that's sort of interesting. It implies that, well, for one thing, they were warned we were coming, which we already knew, but they must have been given our identity. Probably Silky. Or Silk, I don't know what you want to call him, but... Why does it seem like Bond can never keep his identity a secret, despite being a spy? We have our last piece of intel for the level, and it's a pretty unimaginatively named shotgun, the 12 gauge. The intel says that it has a wide spread, but it's also a very short-barreled shotgun, which makes its effectiveness at range pretty much nothing. We're gonna pick it up and use it, but it's essentially the same thing as the previous shotgun I showed off, but even worse. So don't expect to be seeing too much of it. That was pretty risky. We're going to pick up the AK-74 again and put it to good use. It was also mentioned in Rack's profile that he was in charge of a bunch of export businesses, and that would probably explain the little warehouse with the Buddhas and guns in it. Right there, we're called by name. This section here is the sort of gauntlet of the level. A whole bunch of guys are going to sort of rush us from the other end of this pier, or dock, or whatever this place is. Like most fights in the game, we have a good weapon, so as long as we stay in cover, this really isn't very difficult. have no idea what that guy did, but he apparently managed to drop a grenade right at his own feet. I guess one interesting thing I just noticed about that is that the bad guys have an animation for diving away from a grenade, but we're not allowed to throw them at them.
Fools! You're all worthless!
Apparently Rack was right here all along. We really breached his defenses, so now let's go catch him. See you guys next time.
It's over, Rack. You're finished. I know about the kidnappings, the bioweapons, the missing researchers. I'll give you one last chance, Rack.
You should have quit while you had the chance.